Tomas Souček, he's leaving in the summer. I'm absolutely convinced of it. And we've got to be very, very careful how we play this. There's too many rumours for it not to be true. And I think when you place it alongside the evidence, albeit recent evidence, of the last game against Liverpool and how the substitutions have gone under Graham Potter, I think if you marry that information up with all the rumours that he is going and who's coming in for him and who wants to buy him, I think it's really easy to come to the conclusion that he is going. I think there's three factors at play here. I think he's not as important under Graham Potter as he has been. Well, actually, funny enough, Lopetegui was more important under Lopetegui and clearly just a huge important player under David Moyes. And a great servant for West Ham. We'll get to all this. We'll get to all the reasons why I think it's dangerous. But I think that's the first reason that Graham Potter's not showing us that he really fancies Tomas Souček. The second reason is that he wants a new contract. I was going to say bigger contract. It is a bigger contract. He does want a bigger contract. So at the moment, he's not well down the pecking order. It's not like Soufal. I think Soufal's on something like £35,000 a week. Vladimir Soufal, apart from like the junior players like Ollie Scarles, Vladimir Soufal is our lowest paid player. But in terms of sort of, I don't know if you want the big hitters, the big guns, then Souček is, I think he's like 13th, 14th down the list. Now Souček sees this as, it's not great, you know. I think it's nice work if you can get it, but I think he maybe is on something like £70,000 a week, something like that. We'd all like to be so skint that we only had £70,000 a week, but you know, you've got to look at it on these terms. He's been an important player for West Ham, sees himself as an important player for West Ham, and he's actually really committed to West Ham, but he just wants a new deal. He'd like to stay. So that's the second factor, is there's a contract dispute. So first factor, he's not being played much. Then we've got a little contract dispute, which is the club. The club will look at his contract, but at the end of next season, I think he wants it done now. And the third reason is that there is interest in him from, well, the two biggest clubs with the most interest in him. Everton, no surprise there. David Moyes is there. And Leeds United. Now, this is where it gets we've got to be a little bit careful here. Because, so we've got three things. Factor those three things in: contract, new manager doesn't like him as much as previous manager did, and other people really want him. You've put all those things into the mixer, and I think he's off. The interest from Everton is real, very, very real. As I understand, the interest from Leeds United is real. And it seems like an odd one, really, doesn't it, with Leeds United there? But it's not so much, because he guarantees goals. It's something I've heard on two separate occasions from two different people. And it's an interesting one to perceive how other people perceive Tomas Souček. I think it's absolutely right. I think he does guarantee goals. That's a massive thing if you're obviously a newly promoted club. Certainly, it's a massive thing for any club. Now, I think it's important to factor in why he doesn't catch the eye. Let's go with the negatives on Tomas Souček. He doesn't catch the eye, really. He's a little bit ponderous. He's a bit clumsy. He can often kill the attack. That's wrong. He can slow the pace of the game down in midfield. Between the two boxes, he often ain't great. He's got a great work rate, but between two boxes, he ain't great. His passing's not brilliant. It seems sometimes he's got the first touch of a bulldozer. And you can absolutely understand why we got a manager now. Well, we had a manager before. Actually, Lopetegui had the reputation for playing the ball on the deck, but it didn't seem to matter. Lopetegui seemed to like Souček, and he was a really important player under him. And Souček was made vice-captain under Lopetegui. And I don't know how true this is. It's just a rumour. But he was very, very close to getting the captaincy rather than Jared Bowen. That's how highly he rated him. You can't believe everything you hear about the Lopetegui era, because you also heard that he really, really rated James Ward-Prowse highly, and Ward-Prowse was in the running to get the job as captain, and then he loaned him out. So who knows what to believe on it. But so you had this manager who had a reputation of playing the ball on the deck and so on and so forth. And you know what? We just thought Souček's face ain't going to fit. Now, we've got a slightly different situation, I think, with Potter. But we're going to deal with reputation, because I think that's what's probably going to play the biggest factor here. So Graham Potter has a reputation for wanting to keep the ball on the deck. Now, that's slightly different from what we've seen at West Ham so far, which is he does also like to launch it long up the pitch from the defenders or the goalkeeper. So for that, you might think, actually, if you stick Souček up there, he might be good for that. But if you believe, and I guess I probably do, that eventually he doesn't want to play like that, he would rather keep possession, then you can understand maybe why Souček's face doesn't fit. So that's what he can't do. What he can do is really important to say that, because it's easy to concentrate on the negatives, particularly when sometimes you're frustrated with how West Ham are playing. Souček at his worst, and we've got the stats. We've done the stats so many times over on our Patreon player ratings. He's had times when he's had 8 passes in a game, and it's happened on more than one occasion, by the way. Less than 10 passes in a football match is not an absolute rarity for Souček. So if what you want to do is keep the ball ticking over, you can understand. You sort of get it, right? What he can do is be absolutely devastated in both boxes. In a defensive area, he just gets so many blocks, so many interceptions. He's like a magnet to the ball in both boxes. However, it's his goal scoring record, which is really, really important, because that first touch of a bulldozer, that crappy passing technique, turns into world-class finishing inside the box. And actually, when he's got the sniff of goals between his nostrils, then his technique just becomes so much better. And he scored 7 goals for West Ham this season. He's our second top goal scorer. And if we didn't have those goals, well, I'll let someone else do the maths. I haven't done it, but I think a lot of his goals are either game-winning goals or they get you a point, they get you something. He's not, well, we don't beat anyone 3-4-0, do we? Very rarely does he score the third goal in a 3-0 win. We went through in a 3-0. I don't even know why I said that. He scores important goals. I think take his goals away. And I know it's a silly suggestion, because you might say, well, hold on, if he wasn't there, then another midfielder was there. But I would just forward this suggestion, that if Tomas Souček wasn't there to score those 7 goals, I don't think Edson Alvarez is scoring them. I don't think Guido Rodriguez is scoring them. I'm not sure Carlos Soler is scoring them. Maybe Carlos Soler would have scored 2 of them, but he wouldn't have scored 7. I suggest you take those 7 goals out. West Ham are very near Ipswich. And that poses a massive problem with us trying to sell him to Leeds United. Before I go any further, can I please point you in the direction of today's video sponsor, which is Surfshark. Who are Surfshark? Well, they're a VPN. Why do you need a VPN? Because you need to encrypt your stuff, your online stuff, your stuff on your mobile phone, your stuff on your laptop, your stuff on your computer, your Fire Stick, or whatever thing you use to watch your TV. Surfshark is a VPN, and it encrypts all of your browsing data. Not only that, it allows you to adjust your geolocation. Why do you want to adjust your geolocation? Well, there's many, many reasons for that. And you can go and look at that if you go and click on the description below. Go on to Surfshark. Now they'll explain better than me why you should have Surfshark. But let me tell you why I think you should. I think you should because of internet banking and all your details that are on your phone. What you don't want is to be out in the shopping centre, out in a high street, out in a restaurant, using someone else's Wi-Fi and using a banking app. It's just a little bit dodgy. You don't want to be doing that. What you want to do is protect yourself. VPN is the way to do it. Even if you don't use Surfshark, you probably want to be getting yourself a VPN. We've got a really good deal for you at the moment. I say at the moment, we've had this good deal for ages. Take it up, honestly. 4 months free. 4 months free, and you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's harder to say than it should be. The link is in the description below. It's surfshark.com/Hammers Chat, and you get one application, one subscription, and it does all your devices, your mobile phone, your laptop, your computer at home, all that stuff, and you don't need to get another one. Check it out, links in the description below. Leeds United. Let me make this a little bit broader here. Take those 7 goals away from us and give them to Ipswich. What happens? I suspect it ain't very good. Now, I do understand that we're probably not in a situation whereby we should be considering ourselves as having relegation rivals. But What's it more likely, that we're going to ever overtake Crystal Palace and Brighton and Bournemouth and all the rest of it next season? Well, we might do. We just don't know. As I've said before, we're sort of acting on blind faith that we might be scrapping it out down the bottom. I'm not entirely sure you want to give a promoted team a guaranteed goal scorer, irrespective of how much they pay. I don't think it'd be much. I think we'd get £20 million for Tomas Souček. Because I think the one thing that saved our bacon this season is the fact that there's a massive difference between the Championship and West Ham. We've been a bit lucky. Hopefully things do get better next season, but I think we don't want to be giving somebody else a helping hand. There's a lot of clubs that have done that to us in the time, have not sold players to us with a rival. Actually, we didn't get Jesse Lingard back initially because we were seen as a rival. I guess we were at the time to Manchester United. We were both battling out for 6th place at the time, weren't we? I don't think we need to be doing that sort of thing. And yeah, is it low expectation? I just think we've got to be a little bit careful. If he's going to go, and I think he will go, I think it should probably be to Everton. Who probably also would be our rival, but I think they'll have a decent... I think Everton will be mid-table next season. I hope we're mid-table. I hope we're better than that. I hope we're winning the league, but I'll take mid-table now if you offered it to me, truth be known. That's a video for another day, I guess. Look, the thing is with Souček, and I'd like to keep him. If we can remain happy, I would like to keep him. I just want to make that point now. I get frustrated with Souček, particularly when he's passing crap. I think, well, do you know what? If he's not impacting the game, get him off. But I still think he's going to score you 7 goals each season, and sometimes more. There's a lot of metrics in football, very data-driven football these days, isn't it? A lot of metrics involved. And you can get a lot of stuff for tackles and headers and expected goals, crosses, all that stuff. I don't know if there is a metric for this. I'm not sure how they would measure it, but I'll give you one. The ability to sniff out a chance and timing. Timing. It's a big thing in boxing, timing. Timing is really, really important. Some people just got a nose for this stuff. The timing of when to make the run in that box. And not just a run in the box. The timing and the nous and the sniffability of when to take 3 paces backwards before you can create that yard of space. So as you create the space to score the goal. He does all that. He's got all that stuff. I'm not saying Tomas Souček is the world's best player. And I think he's been a real icon for West Ham. And I think he'll be reflected back upon really, really fondly. I'm not even suggesting that necessarily is a reason to keep him. I mean, let's be fair, if we did, it'd be lots of iconic players. Bloody Ginger Pele still be playing at the back, wouldn't he? Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that. If he's got to go, he's got to go. But I'd rather keep him for all those reasons, if we can keep him happy. If not, and he wants to go and he wants guaranteed first-team football, then I understand him going. But if that is going to happen, I think it would be utter madness to send him to Leeds United.